Hello again, and welcome to my laundry room. This might be an odd place to start using the homemade planters we just made, but my indoor garden happens to be in the room adjacent to the washer and dryer. So we're going to start out here. Now, I had mentioned putting gravel on the bottom layer with one of these improvised planters. I've got some gravel right here. This is that hardware cloth that I use to sift out my gravel. I live in a very dry climate, so I have a gravel yard, and there's lots of gravel around here. Setting this aside, I'll be back in a moment. Now, if you look inside here, this is really not a whole lot of gravel. You only need a little bit. The main point is if I'm going to grow something for a good long time, if its roots get far down, I don't want the roots to be damaged or the plant to be damaged by getting stuck in an area where water is pooling that might be too much for the plant's water tolerance. So, a layer of gravel helps with that. This one here, I'm not putting gravel in because I'm growing something that won't be living as long and will never put down roots that far. Here in my pail, I've got what's known as sterile potting soil. It's not completely sterile in the hospital sense, but what it does mean is that it has no active seeds in it. And that's going to be important because I'm going to be harvesting from both of these containers while the plants I want to grow are very young. So I want there to be no chance of any weeds growing in this. I'll go ahead just with my bare hand here. Put in potting soil up to a good height. My margarine planter is going to have some plants that are going to grow for a while. So I'm going to put that in fairly deep. Breaking up any little clods that turn up in this. Young plants like nice, loose soil to grow in. So I'm breaking this up, sprinkling it in, and then spreading it out evenly around the area. I'll be putting in seeds in a moment to both of these, but first, while my soil is wet, let's just do that with both. This will not need as much soil because the things that grow in it are not going to live very long. I'm going to harvest them very, very young. Okay, that's enough for now. What I've got here, and I'm not paid by any of these manufacturers you might see, so this is not an ad for Fairy Morse or for any other seed manufacturer. I happen to have some Mesclun gourmet greens mixture, which is a combination of arugula, endive, kale, lettuce, romaine lettuce, different kinds of lettuce. Okay, so this is like the Mesclun salad that you buy in a bag in the grocery store, except right now you're buying it in the form of little seeds. So I'm going to shake those around, maybe pick a few more. These are going to grow pretty densely because although I'm going to let the plants grow, as individual leaves get to be kind of mature, I'm going to be snipping off individual leaves and throwing them into my daily salads. That way, I don't need to make as many trips to the grocery store, where heaven knows what kind of virus might be around. This is a different type of thing. These are microgreens. Now, I'll just point out what the manufacturer is. This is not an endorsement. I'm not paid. There are probably other manufacturers that are just as good. I happen to get this from the Mountain Valley Seed Company of Salt Lake City, Utah. Now, microgreens are meant to be harvested when they're just a few weeks old. So I buy this seed by the pound. It's much larger volume than ordinary seeds that you would get at the local greenhouse or something. These I normally order online, and I'm not going to touch the inside of that because I do want these seeds to remain as clean as possible. And very gently I tap the bag, and regular household gardeners might say this is ridiculous how tightly you're planting these seeds, and that's right, it is. These are both very dense plantings. Because I'm harvesting the plants so young, I'm not going to space them out the way that a backyard gardener ordinarily would. So now I sprinkle just a little bit more soil on top, enough to cover up the seeds. Don't put more than 1/4 inch on top of them. And it'd be about 1/2 centimeter if you're on the metric scale. And here we go. That is ready to go. Now, if I were going to plant these for outside growth in my dry climate, I would want to put a gravel mulch on top. That's just because I happen to live in a part of the world where the summers get very, very hot and dry. However, I'm growing these indoors, so that's not as much of an issue. Now, I have water. Yes, this is sort of an ordinary cup. I want to drench the soil. I might regret putting this in here. I'm going to have to pick that up. So I caught my overflow with the lid from this container, and if you saw my previous video when I made this makeshift planter, I did talk about using this to catch water. However, I've got another setup. I'm going to pause this and take this over there, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with these. Hello again. Moving over to my growing area now, you can see that I have made quite a few milk jugs into my indoor garden. This is a cabinet that we made when we converted over a space that used to have our central heating unit. It's next to the furnace used to be next to the washer and dryer, which is why I actually used my washing machine as a potting area, which I don't really recommend, but it was easier for shooting this. Now, taking some water, put it in here, trying to wet up everything. And I have a larger plastic container to catch drips. I have actually the bottom to a traditional planter to catch drips for that. And what is that? That's a bug. We're not going to have that. Behind it, I'll hold this over here. This is some mesclun salad on the left that I've been growing for a couple of weeks now. It will soon be ready to harvest and start using in my salads. And these are some microgreens that have been growing for a while, and these are some more microgreens that have been growing for a while. And I have scissors here. Actually, I'll pause and grab my scissors, and I'll be right back. Back with scissors in hand. This will be an adventure harvesting this and getting it with one-handed while I hold the phone with the other. But you can see I just go in with kitchen shears And I clip out some of these, and then setting down my kitchen shears for a moment, I just pick these up and I put them in a bowl. Of course, these are going to need washing. You can use a little colander for that. Normally I would just grab onto a clump with one hand while I clip with the other. Shooting video at the same time makes this a little bit messy. And this is how you raise microgreens. Now I've got special grow lights here inside my grow cabinet. You can see there. These produce light in the wavelengths that plants like to have in order to thrive. You can order them online. I happened to be at a Habitat for Humanity store last year when these were on a magnificent discount, so I got a great deal on them. But you can see as you look around my little indoor garden that I've got quite a few things growing. In the back, these are going to become, oh, what would I say? They're going to become bell peppers. I've got some basil right here. Behind it I have red Russian kale, which tastes much better than the kind you usually get in the grocery store. I'll pause for one moment more. Okay, picking up. I have harvested some more using two-handed technique and put some more greens into my little salad bowl. And then what I want you to see is that I labeled both of these. This is just a Sharpie and a piece of masking tape so that I don't get confused about what's what, as I have a fairly sizable garden here. And that garden also has a second level, which I'll show you in a sec. And yeah, I'm growing a lot of plants, and as you can see, I've been saving my milk jugs for a while so that I've got lots of things to grow. Here is wishing you well for your time if you are in lockdown or quarantine or any of that, or simply self-isolating. I'm hoping that these videos offer you some solutions so that you can eat well and eat nutritiously in a confined space. You can grow these by a sunny window if you have a large sunny window, or you could use these grow lights like I have. Best regards, and thank you for watching my video.